The battle against Frieza on Namek is one of the most iconic fights in the Dragon Ball franchise. Frieza was such an incredibly powerful opponent whose strength was astronomically higher than that of our protagonists. As he repeatedly transformed, the gap between them only became larger, until eventually he had all of them defeated. That was until Goku arrived. After spending most of the fight in the healing chamber, his power had increased by a large magnitude. Goku was able to hold off and eventually defeat Frieza when he transformed into a Super Saiyan. But what if Goku was there from the beginning of the fight? What if Dende arrived sooner and healed Goku from his injuries? Would he be as powerful, and would he be able to defeat Frieza without even transforming? Well, in this video, I'm going to discuss that. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out. So I've been asked this question a number of times in the past, and it's very interesting to think about. Goku being around from the moment that First Form Frieza arrived would have drastically changed the situation. Not only would the team have another warrior on their side, but also one who could amplify his power to be greater than that of Frieza's weakest form. And I actually discussed this more in depth in another video on my channel, in which I talked about what if Goku fought Frieza when he first arrived on Namek. However, as we know, Goku by the time that he arrived to fight Frieza was far more powerful than the Goku who arrived on Namek. That is because Goku's body had taken advantage of the ability known as a Zenkai boost. As it was explained in the manga, when a Saiyan is brought to the brink of death and survives, their power grows. We saw this ability greatly increase the power of Goku and Vegeta throughout the Frieza arc. Before Goku faced Frieza, his body had been stolen by Captain Ginyu and then pummeled into the ground by Vegeta. He was then placed into an older model of healing chamber, which took approximately 40 to 50 minutes to heal him. However, this situation would have been very different had Dende arrived sooner. That is because Dende's ability to heal is nearly instant. Now, Dende was instructed by the Grand Elder to help Gohan and Krillin summon Purunga, the Namekian dragon. However, Dende arrived after Goku had been placed into the healing chamber. This is when he became involved in the fight against Frieza, and the Z fighters learned that he had the ability to heal. However, if he arrived before Goku went into the chamber, he would have likely healed him right there. If he had done so, then things before the Frieza fight would have changed as well. The first being that the wishes would have happened sooner, because before Dende arrived, the group placed Goku into the chamber, changed their clothes, Vegeta took a nap, and the others snuck off to make their wishes. This ate up a good amount of time, which led to the Grand Elder dying before a third wish could be granted. However, in this case, there likely wouldn't be such a gap in time. The first change would likely be that the team would have made the wish almost immediately without hiding it from Vegeta. Now, Vegeta would want to attain immortality, but Goku would no doubt refuse. Of course, Vegeta would protest this, but after his Zenkai boost, Goku would be stronger than he is, so Vegeta wouldn't be able to do much about it, and if he tried to fight them, then Goku would simply beat him. As for the wishes themselves, I suspect that the first two would remain the same. Bring Piccolo back to life and bring him to the planet. It's possible that Goku would protest the idea of Piccolo coming since he could be killed, but I could see him persuading Goku to let him fight. The third wish, however, is up in the air. In the original story, Piccolo wasn't brought directly to the team's location because of a mix-up. At this point, Gohan began to question if they should just use the third wish to bring him to that location, but he was interrupted by Vegeta. However, considering that Goku was there, I don't think that they would do that. That of course raises the question of what they would wish for. The first choice that comes to mind is to wish the team and the remaining Namekians back to Earth. However, Goku would likely want to fight Frieza, as would Piccolo. Additionally, most of the Namekians would be dead, and this would leave Frieza to destroy the planet, so I don't think that this would happen. The next choice would likely be to make one of the team members immortal. Now obviously it wouldn't be Vegeta, since he was still a threat. Another choice would be Piccolo, as this would effectively safeguard the Dragon Balls from becoming inert. However, at this point in the story, Piccolo could still be said to be sort of an antagonist who had an alliance of needs with Goku. It wasn't until the Cell Saga that he really gave up on his goal of taking over the world, so I'm not too sure that this would be their choice either. That would leave the likely choice of Goku, but I don't think that Goku would want to be immortal, and would rather continue to push his mortal body to its absolute limits. I don't think that Gohan or Krillin would want to either, and I'm not too sure that it would make any difference if they did. so I don't think that they would use their wish on this. Honestly, I think the safest bet would be that they would wish for another fighter to be brought back to life who couldn't be with the Earth's Dragon Balls. So that would be Tien or Chaozu, although I doubt anyone would ever use their last wish on Chaozu. In either case, this would lead to no wishes being left before the Grand Elder dies, which will become important later on. Now, as for when Frieza arrives, this is also where we would see some big changes. Frieza would be at a much bigger disadvantage in his lower forms than he was before, especially since Goku would have his Kaioken, which would allow him to overpower Frieza. However, the question here is, how much stronger would Goku be? And I actually think that Goku would be weaker than in the original encounter. The reason for this lies in the Zenkai boost itself, or more specifically, how it works. Now, we've never been specifically told what determines the increase in power that a Zenkai boost brings. However, I have a theory for how it works, which I like to call the active threat theory. Basically, this theory contends that the amount of strength a Zenkai boost will bring a Saiyan is always around the level of the greatest threat at the time. The Saiyan body will feel the power or the pain of that threat, and their physiology will adapt to match or defeat it. Contextual evidence for this is found throughout the first two arcs of Dragon Ball Z. For instance, after Vegeta is defeated on Earth, his power level climbs to 24,000, which is on par with Goku's Kaioken times 3 during their fight. After Vegeta was defeated by Zarbon's second form, which had a power level of 28,000, Vegeta's power rose to 30,000, and allowed him to win. Then, after Vegeta was defeated by Recoome, his power rose to be higher than that of Captain Ginyu's, and Goku's Kaioken times 2, which were his strongest immediate threats. Then, after his nap, he was nearly on par with Frieza's weakest form. The same thing happened with Gohan, who after getting beaten down by Recoome, also got a Zenkai, and then with a rage boost was strong enough to overpower second form Frieza, and then after getting another Zenkai, was able to overpower third form Frieza. Finally, Vegeta was healed while Frieza was transforming from his third form to his suppressed final form, which made him more powerful than Piccolo and third form Frieza, but still far less powerful than final form Frieza when he raised his power. This all comes back to Goku when he was in the healing chamber. As we know, Goku had a massive increase, going from a base power level of 90,000 to 3 million when he left the chamber. However, I think the key to this increase is partially due to how long it took him to recover. During his lengthy recovery, he was feeling all of the battles happening with Frieza. His body felt Vegeta, Piccolo, and even Gohan's power increasing, as well as Frieza transforming. As a result, his physiology adapted to where by the time that he had left the chamber, after final form Frieza had defeated Vegeta, his body was capable enough to fight that level of power, which he demonstrated when he deflected Frieza's blasts and landed a blow on him. Again, Frieza was the active threat and Goku's body rose to challenge it, albeit with the need of Kaioken and then Super Saiyan. But this set of circumstances allowed Goku the chance to fight and then defeat a far more powerful opponent. However, if Goku was instantly healed, then his active threat would be much lesser. His active threat would become Frieza's weakest form of 530,000. And while that would be nearly a 6 times boost, it's still nearly 6 times weaker than his original level of power. And he would be going up against Frieza, whose full power was 666 times stronger than Vegeta's Ozaru in the previous arc. That's a whole lot of 6s. Maybe Frieza really is the devil after all. Sorry, Deborah, at least I thought you were cool. But anyway, the point that I'm making here is that Goku would be at a bigger disadvantage than he was in the original story. Goku's base might be able to match or surpass Frieza's weakest form, but he would likely need Kaioken to defeat his second and third forms. Of course, Frieza would also be at a disadvantage here, especially if Vegeta joins the fight. But if he goes to his final form, then Goku wouldn't be able to fare anywhere near as well. Because if Goku had a base power of say 600,000 for example, then his maximum at Kaioken times 20 would yield a power of 12 million, which would only be 10% of Frieza's maximum power. And if Goku went Super Saiyan, which we've been told is a 50 times multiplier, his power level would be 30 million, which would still only be able to match Frieza at 25% of his power. Although Goku could potentially defeat him in his weakest 3 forms, I could see Goku allowing Frieza to transform to see what he really has. You can can perhaps make the argument that Goku only did that because he was blinded by anger and the influence of Super Saiyan, but Goku has done this at other points in the story, so I could see him doing it here as well. And if Frieza has the ability to transform into his final form like he did in Resurrection F, the situation would go from a dream to a nightmare almost instantly. With that being said, there is a possibility that Goku could get even stronger if Dende heals him again. However, if we remember, Dende was Frieza's first target when he transformed into his second form, and Krillin got in the way. Then, when Frieza went to his final form, he instantly killed Dende. However, if Frieza went to his final form right away, no one would really be able to stop him from doing this. Now, maybe the other Z fighters could distract Frieza, however, I'm not sure that Frieza would be in the mood for their interference at this point, and might not play with his food. As a result, I'm not sure that this would work, and Frieza would likely defeat Goku and wipe out the team. However, let's say that Dende does heal Goku, and he becomes as powerful, if not more so, than he was in the original story. Even if he becomes a Super Saiyan, Frieza can still destroy the planet, and with no third wish remaining on the Namekian Dragon Balls, the team wouldn't be able to escape the planet. As a result, even if Frieza was defeated, the planet would still explode, and everyone would die. Everyone would remain dead as well, because both the Earth and Namekian Dragon Balls would be gone forever. So much for a happy ending. So there you have it. I believe that I've demonstrated that this situation would turn out worse for everyone involved. Although Goku would be healed sooner, his power wouldn't be as great as it was in the original story. And even if they found a way to defeat Frieza, they would have likely already used their last wish, and then would have been killed by the planet's destruction. It's also possible that Frieza would survive in this case, just as he did in the original story. And without the Z fighters, the Earth would be ravaged by the androids, or even destroyed by Frieza, King Cold, or Majin Buu. And the entire universe would be a far darker place as a result. So let me know your own thoughts down below in the comments. Also, if you're new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications so that you can see all of my videos right away when they come out. And make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe.